The morning sun warmed Jack Miller's back as he hiked up the rocky trail outside Phoenix. A cool breeze swept across the desert landscape, rustling the sparse vegetation. Jack adjusted his backpack and took a swig from his water bottle. After 15 years as a Marine and 5 years teaching high school physics, these weekend hikes kept him sane. A flash of light caught his eye. At first, he thought it was the sun reflecting off a car windshield in the distance, but the light grew bigger and brighter. Jack shielded his eyes and watched as something massive descended from the sky. "What the hell?" he muttered. The object was smooth and silver, shaped like an oval with strange markings along its surface. It hovered above an empty field about half a mile away, then slowly touched down on the desert floor. Dust billowed around it. Jack's first instinct was to call someone, but who? The police? The military? He pulled out his phone, but had no signal. His second instinct, the one that made him drop to a crouch behind a large rock, was pure Marine training. For 10 minutes, nothing happened. The ship sat silently. Then, with a soft hiss, a section of the hull slid open. Jack held his breath. 3 figures emerged. They were tall, at least 7 feet, with slender bodies and skin that shimmered like oil on water. Each had 4 arms that moved with fluid grace. Their heads were hairless with large, almond-shaped eyes. They were clearly not human. One of the aliens scanned the area with a device, then pointed directly at Jack's hiding spot. All 3 turned to face him. "Well, so much for hiding," Jack said to himself. He stood slowly, hands raised to show he carried no weapons. The aliens watched him approach. Jack's heart hammered in his chest, but his face remained calm. Years of combat had taught him to control his fear. When he was 20 feet away, one of the aliens stepped forward and spoke. To Jack's surprise, he understood the words. "Greetings, human. We are representatives of the Vren Confederation, members of the Galactic Council. We come in peace." Jack blinked. "You speak English. We have studied your languages. Our translation devices make communication possible," the alien said, touching a small disc on what Jack assumed was its chest. "I'm Jack Miller. I'm not exactly an official representative of Earth. Yet you approach us without fear. This is noteworthy," said the alien. "I am Eler, diplomatic envoy of the Vren." Jack shrugged. Someone had to say hello. The other 2 aliens moved forward now. They carried no visible weapons, which Jack found reassuring. "Our arrival was meant to be detected by your governments," Eler explained. "But your presence provides an unexpected opportunity for preliminary contact." "So this is first contact?" Jack asked. "Shouldn't there be more?" "I don't know ceremony." Eler made a sound like gentle bells, which Jack realized was laughter. "The formal introduction comes later. We have monitored Earth for decades. Your species has developed enough to be noticed by the Galactic Council. And that's good, right?" "It is inevitable," Eler replied. "The Council oversees all spacefaring civilizations in this sector. Earth will soon be invited to join." Over the next hour, Jack learned more about the galaxy than any human before him. The Council contained 12 major species, each controlling vast territories. The Vren were among the more peaceful members. In 1 month, Council representatives will arrive to formally invite Earth to membership, Eler explained. "We came early to prepare your people." By sunset, military helicopters circled overhead. Someone had spotted the ship. Jack found himself acting as an impromptu mediator between nervous human officials and the calm Vren visitors. As the sun disappeared behind distant mountains, Jack caught himself smiling. This morning he had been a physics teacher. Now he was helping introduce humanity to the stars. 1 month, he thought. 1 month until everything changes. 1 month passed quickly. Jack stood near a window in the space station, watching Earth grow smaller below. He adjusted his new uniform and tried to calm his nerves. The massive council ship had arrived exactly when the Vren said it would. It was huge, nearly a mile long and shaped like a crescent moon. Next to him, Dr. Olivia Grant checked her tablet for the fifth time. Her dark hair was pulled back tightly, her face serious. "Nervous?" Jack asked. "Wouldn't you be?" Olivia replied, "I studied animals on Earth for 15 years. Now I'm the leading expert on aliens." Captain Susan Wright joined them at the window. Her military uniform was crisp, her posture perfect. "Remember the plan," she said quietly. "We listen, we learn, we don't commit to anything." The shuttle docked with the council ship with a gentle bump. The door slid open, revealing a long hallway lined with lights that pulsed in different colors. A Vren diplomat waited for them. "Welcome, humans. The council is ready to receive you." They walked for several minutes through curved corridors. Aliens of different shapes and sizes passed them. Some looked almost human. Others were so strange that Jack couldn't figure out which part was the head. The council chamber was enormous. A round table sat in the center with 12 large chairs. Behind each chair were rows of seats filled with aliens. The room hushed as the humans entered. The Vren guide led them to 3 small chairs facing the table. Jack noticed that their seats were much lower than the council members' chairs. He would have to look up at them during the meeting. A power move, he thought. An alien with blue-gray skin and 6 eyes stood. "I am High Counselor Mez of the Galactic Council. We welcome Earth's representatives." The counselor introduced the other members. Jack tried to remember their names and species, but it was too much information too quickly. He did notice that one counselor, a red-scaled being called Zek, watched them with what looked like disgust. "Earth has developed sufficiently to join our community," Mez continued. "We offer you membership as a protected territory." Susan leaned forward. "What does protected territory mean exactly?" Another counselor, a fuzzy creature with 4 arms, explained. "You would receive our guidance and protection. Your people would gain access to some of our technology. In exchange, you would follow council directives and provide resources." "So we would work for you?" Jack asked. "You would work with us," the counselor corrected, "under our supervision." Olivia spoke up. "And if we want equal membership?" The chamber filled with sounds Jack couldn't interpret. Laughter. Outrage. "Impossible," said Zek, the red-scaled counselor. "Your species is primitive. You have barely left your own planet. You should be grateful for our offer." Jack felt his face grow hot. "With all due respect, Counselor, Earth decides its own fate." Zek stood suddenly. His scales flared out around his neck. Such arrogance. This is why new species must learn their place. Before anyone could react, Zek pulled out a short rod from his robe. He pointed it at Jack and pressed a button. A beam of pale light hit Jack in the chest. Jack felt a strange tingle spread through his body. It wasn't exactly painful, more like an intense pressure. He grimaced and stayed on his feet. The chamber went completely silent. Zek stared at Jack in shock. He adjusted something on the rod and fired again. The beam hit Jack with more intensity. Jack flinched but remained standing. "Impossible," Zek whispered. Mez stood quickly. "Guards. Escort Counselor Zek out immediately." As guards rushed forward, Jack looked at Olivia and Susan. Their faces showed the same confusion he felt. "What just happened?" Jack asked. Mez approached them, his 6 eyes blinking rapidly. "Something unprecedented. The weapon Counselor Zek used should have left you unconscious with pain. It affects the nervous system of all known sentient species. All known species except humans, apparently," Olivia said quietly. The council members whispered among themselves. Jack could feel the mood in the room shifting from dismissive to concerned. "We must investigate this immediately," Mez said. "Please come with me." Jack sat on a cold metal table in the medical bay of the council ship. Small devices hovered around him, scanning his body with beams of light. Olivia stood nearby, watching alien doctors work. Her eyes were wide with fascination. "Does anything hurt?" she asked Jack. "No. It felt weird when that weapon hit me, but not really painful. Like pins and needles all over." A tall alien with 6 fingers on each hand studied a floating screen of symbols. This was Dr. Xelb, the Council's chief medical officer. His skin was pale green, and he had no hair. "Remarkable," Dr. Xelb said. "Simply remarkable." "What is?" Olivia moved closer to look at the screen, though she couldn't read the alien symbols. "Your friend's nervous system. It's unlike anything in our records." Dr. Xelb touched the screen, and a 3D image of Jack's body appeared in the air. "See these pathways? In every other known species, neural connections follow similar patterns. But humans," he gestured at the image with genuine excitement. "Our brains are different." Jack asked. "Not just your brains, your entire nervous system, your cellular structure, even your pain receptors." Dr. Xelb moved his long fingers through the hologram, highlighting different parts. "Council weapons target specific neural pathways common to all sentient species we've encountered before. But your pathways don't match the pattern." Susan entered the medical bay with 2 Vren escorts. "What's going on?" "The entire council is in an uproar." "Apparently. We're weird," Jack said. Olivia's face lit up with understanding. "It's Earth's isolation. We evolved separately from the rest of the galaxy's life. Our biology took a different path." Dr. Xelb nodded. "Precisely. Most intelligent species in this galaxy share certain biological foundations. We believe this is because life was seeded by ancient precursors. But Earth," he paused, "Earth may have developed life independently. Or was seeded by different precursors," Olivia suggested. "Is this immunity just for pain weapons?" Susan asked, ever practical. "We need more tests," Dr. Xelb said. "But preliminary results suggest humans may be resistant to many forms of council weaponry. Not all, certainly. Physical damage is physical damage, but weapons designed to attack the nervous system, to control minds, to cause pain or unconsciousness, these may have limited effect on humans." Jack thought about the implications. No wonder that Counselor looked so shocked. A small alien rushed into the room, whispered something to Dr. Xelb, then hurried out. Dr. Xelb's expression grew serious. "What's wrong?" Jack asked. "News of your immunity has reached the council chamber. There is disagreement about how to proceed." "What kind of disagreement?" Susan's hand moved closer to where her sidearm would be, if she had been allowed to bring one. "Some see your species as a potential threat, others as an opportunity." Dr. Xelb turned off the hologram. "Politics is not my specialty. I am a scientist, and scientifically, you are the most interesting discovery in my lifetime." Suddenly, 3 armed guards entered. They wore armor and carried weapons different from what Jack had seen before. "The High Council requests your immediate return to Earth," one guard said. "A ship is being prepared." "Wait," Olivia protested. "We have more tests to run, more to learn." "Those are our orders," the guard replied firmly. Dr. Xelb quickly pressed a small device into Olivia's hand. "My research. Take it. Study it." They were escorted out of the medical bay and led through corridors filled with aliens who stopped to stare at them. Jack noticed fear in some eyes, curiosity in others. As they approached the shuttle bay, Susan whispered, "This doesn't feel like a diplomatic goodbye." Jack nodded. "More like we're being kicked out before they decide what to do with us." The shuttle was waiting. Through the viewports, Jack could see Earth, beautiful and blue. It looked peaceful from space. He wondered how long that peace would last now that humanity's secret was out. "What happens when we get home?" Olivia asked quietly, clutching the data device. "We prepare," Susan said grimly, "because one way or another, everything is changed." News spread quickly across Earth. Videos of Jack standing unharmed after being hit by the alien weapon leaked online. World leaders called emergency meetings. Military bases went on high alert. People everywhere talked about what it meant. In a secure room beneath the United Nations building in New York, Jack, Olivia, and Susan sat at a long table with Alan Pierce, the UN Secretary General. His gray hair was neatly combed, but dark circles under his eyes showed he hadn't slept much. "So we're immune to their weapons," Alan said, tapping his fingers on the table. "At least some of them." "Not completely immune," Olivia clarified. She connected Dr. Xelb's device to a computer. Charts and diagrams appeared on the wall screen. "These weapons affect our nervous systems, but much less than they affect other species. We still feel something." Jack described it as pins and needles. "Could they make stronger weapons that would work on us?" Susan asked. Olivia nodded. "Probably, given time. But right now, their standard weapons for controlling populations aren't very effective against humans." Alan stood and walked to the window. It showed a beautiful view of the city, though Jack knew they were underground. The window was just a screen showing a live feed from above. "This puts us in a dangerous position," Alan said. "We're a threat to them because we can't be easily controlled, but we're also vulnerable because we don't have their technology." "What are our options?" Jack asked. Alan turned to face them. "We prepare. We use this time while they're figuring out what to do. Dr. Grant, I want you working with our best scientists to understand everything on that device. Captain Wright, coordinate with global military forces. And Mr. Miller, your unexpected diplomatic skills are needed again." "Me? I'm just a physics teacher." Alan smiled slightly. "A physics teacher who stood his ground when an alien weapon hit him. People trust you. They've seen the videos. We need someone who can speak to the public without causing panic." As they left the meeting, a young aide rushed up to them. "Sir, we've received a transmission from space. It's not from the council ship." They hurried to the communication center. On a large screen was an alien Jack hadn't seen before. It had purple skin with silver markings and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. "I am Thula of the Ellerin species," the alien said. "I speak to you in secret, at great risk." "Why contact us?" Alan asked. "Because the council is divided over your discovery. Some, like my people, wish for peaceful relations. Others, especially the Drazeri faction, see you as a threat to be eliminated." Jack stepped forward. "The Drazari? Is that Counselor Zek's species?" "Yes, they are aggressive and control the largest military force in the council. They are pushing for immediate action against Earth." "What kind of action?" Susan asked. "An assessment force is already on its way to your system. They will test your defenses, evaluate your true capabilities." Thala's 4 eyes blinked nervously. "This is not an invasion, but it could become one depending on what they find." "How long do we have?" Alan asked. 2 of your weeks, perhaps less. I must go before this transmission is discovered." Thela leaned closer to the camera. "You should know. You are not the first species found to be immune to council weapons." The room went completely silent. "What happened to the others?" Olivia asked quietly. "They no longer exist," Thela said simply. The transmission ended. Alan looked at the 3 of them. His face was grim. "It seems we have 2 weeks to prepare for a test that other species have failed." Jack thought about the billions of people on Earth who knew nothing about the danger coming toward them. "We need to tell everyone. Now. And we need a plan." "No," Alan said firmly. "We need more than a plan. We need a miracle." Susan squared her shoulders. "Or we need to make our immunity into a strength they can't ignore." Olivia nodded, already thinking. "And I might know how to do that." Captain Lisa Howard scanned the night sky from the roof of the military base in Nevada. The stars looked the same as always, but she knew that somewhere up there, alien ships were approaching. Her brown hair was cut short, and her uniform was dusty from the day's preparations. "Any sign of them?" a young soldier asked, joining her on the roof. "Not yet, but they're coming." Lisa had been briefed by Susan Wright 3 days ago. The base had been preparing ever since. The radio on her belt crackled. "Captain, we have multiple objects entering Earth's atmosphere. NASA confirms they're not meteors." "Sound the alarm." "Battle stations." Lisa's voice was calm despite her racing heart. Red lights flashed across the base. Soldiers ran to their positions. The warning had come just in time. 12 small ships appeared in the sky, their hulls gleaming in the moonlight. "Attention Earth facility," a voice boomed from the lead ship. "This is Commander Vrax of the Drazeri Assessment Force. Your planet has been deemed a potential threat to galactic stability. Submit to protective custody or face consequences." Lisa picked up a radio transmitter. "This is Captain Lisa Howard of Earth. We decline your offer. Earth is a sovereign planet. We will defend ourselves if attacked." There was a pause. Then, "Very well. A limited demonstration has been authorized." 2 of the ships broke formation and dove toward the base. They fired beams of pale blue light. Where the beams hit, soldiers fell to their knees. Some dropped their weapons, but many stayed standing, just as Jack Miller had in the council chamber. "They're using their neural weapons," Lisa said into her radio. "Remember your training. Push through the sensation. It's not as bad as it looks." The soldiers who remained standing began to fire back. Earth's weapons were primitive compared to the alien technology, but bullets still worked on the lightly armored scout ships. One ship took heavy damage and retreated back to the formation. "Second wave," Lisa ordered. "Launch missiles." Surface-to-air missiles streaked into the sky. The alien ships dodged with incredible speed, but one missile found its target. An explosion lit up the night, and a Drazeri ship spun out of control before crashing into the desert. "Impossible," the alien commander's voice said over the communication channel. "Your weapons should not be effective against our shields." Lisa smiled grimly. "We analyzed the data from the council ship. Turns out your shields are designed to stop energy weapons, not solid projectiles. Old-fashioned, but effective." The Drazeri ships regrouped. They fired again, this time with more powerful weapons that tore into buildings and vehicles. But they carefully avoided killing humans, instead trying to incapacitate them with the neural beams. "They're testing us," Lisa realized. "They want to capture us, not destroy us." For 20 minutes, the battle raged. Earth forces suffered injuries but few deaths. The aliens lost 2 more ships before Commander Vrax ordered a retreat. "This assessment is complete," his voice announced. "The full council will be informed of our findings." The ships rose quickly and disappeared into the clouds. The base was damaged, but intact. Medics treated the injured while Lisa walked among her troops, checking on them. "Did we win?" asked a soldier with a bandaged arm. "Not yet," Lisa replied. "This was just a test. But we passed." Hours later, in the command center, Lisa reported to Alan Pierce via secure video link. Jack, Olivia, and Susan were also on the call. "They underestimated us," Lisa explained. "They expected their weapons to work better than they did, and they didn't expect our bullets and missiles to be effective against their technology. But next time they'll be prepared," Susan warned. Jack nodded. "They'll bring different weapons, stronger shields." "Then we need to act before they come back in force," Alan said. "Dr. Grant, how is your project progressing?" Olivia held up a small device. "It's ready. Using Dr. Xelb's data, we've created a communication system that can bypass Council security. We can broadcast directly to all Council worlds." "Good," Alan said, "because it's time for Phase 2 of our plan." Lisa looked out the window at her troops. They were tired but proud. They had faced aliens and survived. "Whatever comes next," she said, "Earth is ready." The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. Representatives from 12 species shouted and argued while High Counselor Mez tried to restore order. Commander Vrax stood in the center, his red scales bright with anger as he gave his report. "The humans resisted our assessment force," Vrax said. "They were immune to our control weapons, just as reported. And their primitive projectile weapons damaged our ships." "Impossible," said a counselor with tentacles waving in agitation. "Their technology is centuries behind ours. Our shields are designed to stop energy weapons," another counselor explained. We never needed protection from physical projectiles because no civilized species uses such crude methods anymore. Zek stepped forward, his scales flared. This proves humans are dangerous. We must act quickly before they discover more of our weaknesses. And do what? Asked a small furry counselor. Start a war. Based on what? That they defended themselves. The chamber erupted in fresh arguments. Mez pounded a gavel for silence. We will vote on how to proceed, Mez announced. Those in favor of immediate military action against Earth. Zek and 4 other counselors raised their hands. Those in favor of continued observation and diplomatic engagement. 6 counselors, including the Vren representative, raised their hands. The council will pursue diplomatic options, Mez declared, but our fleet will remain ready if needed. Zek hissed in anger. You doom us all with your weakness. In a quiet corner of the council station, Thala of the Ellerin species met secretly with 2 other counselors. Their conversation was hushed, their manner nervous. The humans survived the assessment, Thala said, just as the Krell did centuries ago. And the Drazeri will push for elimination, just as they did then, said a counselor with skin like bark. We cannot let that happen again. The records of the Krell were erased, the 3rd counselor said. Most don't even know they existed, but some of us remember. Thala nodded sadly. The Krell were peaceful. They posed no threat. But their immunity made the warrior factions nervous. We must warn the humans, the bark-skinned counselor urged. The Drazeri won't accept this vote. They'll act on their own. I've already contacted them once, Thala admitted. I'll do so again. Across the galaxy on Earth, Alan Pierce sat in the Oval Office with the President of the United States. Maps and reports covered every surface. The world is with us, Alan said. Every nation has agreed to the plan. It's risky, but it might be our only chance. The President looked tired but determined. When do we execute? As soon as possible. Dr. Grant has finished the communication device. Jack Miller is preparing his address. Captain Howard has our defense forces on alert in case things go wrong. The secure phone on the desk rang. Alan answered it, listened for a moment, then looked at the President with wide eyes. It's Thala, the Ellerin counselor. The council just voted against military action, but she says the Drazeri faction won't accept the decision. They're planning something on their own. The President's face hardened. Then we move now. Tell everyone. Operation Disclosure begins in 6 hours. At a military base, Olivia made final adjustments to a massive transmission array. The device incorporated both Earth technology and the alien data Dr. Xelb had given her. Will it work? Jack asked, watching her work. In theory, it should allow us to bypass the Council's communication controls and broadcast directly to every world in their territory. Jack looked at the speech on his tablet. The words that might determine humanity's fate. And if it doesn't work, then we'll probably find out what happened to the Krell, Olivia said grimly. Lisa entered the room, her uniform now decorated with new medals from the battle with the Drazeri ships. Security teams are in position. The world is watching. It's time. Jack took a deep breath. Let's show the galaxy who humans really are. The plan unfolded quickly. Jack, Olivia, Alan, and Lisa traveled to a remote island in the Pacific Ocean. Here, far from cities, they built a special meeting place. A large circular platform surrounded by screens and cameras sat in the center of a grassy field. All council representatives have been invited, Alan said, checking his tablet. The message promised a peaceful demonstration of human technology. Most have accepted. And the Drazeri? Lisa asked. They're sending a heavily armed delegation. Our satellites show their ships approaching now. Jack straightened his tie and walked to the platform. This would be the most important speech of his life, not just for him, but for all of humanity. The transmission array is ready, Olivia said, making final adjustments to the equipment. Once we activate it, we'll bypass the Council's normal channels. Every planet in their territory will receive our broadcast. Will they be able to stop it? Jack asked. Not quickly. The system uses Dr. Xelb's knowledge of their technology. It will take them time to figure out how to block it. Ships appeared in the sky. First came the Vren in their silver vessels. Then others, ships of all shapes and sizes. Last came the Drazeri in red warships that hovered menacingly above the others. The alien delegations emerged from their ships. Some walked, others floated or crawled. The Drazeri came with weapons visible on their belts. Commander Vrax led them, his scales bright with anger. "Welcome to Earth," Alan said, stepping forward. "We thank you for accepting our invitation." "What is this demonstration?" asked a Vren representative. "Why gather us here?" Jack climbed onto the platform. "We want to show you something important, something that might change how you see humans." Olivia activated the transmission array. Lights flickered as power surged through the equipment. Screens lit up around the platform, showing alien cities, homes, and public spaces across the galaxy. "What is happening?" Vrax demanded, hand moving to his weapon. "We're having a conversation," Jack said calmly. "But not just with you, with everyone." On the screens, aliens of all species stopped to watch as Jack's face appeared before them. The translation system converted his words into every language in the Council territory. "People of the galaxy," Jack began, "I am Jack Miller of Earth. Today, we reveal truths that some would keep hidden." The screen split to show images from the battle in Nevada, where humans resisted the Drazeri weapons. Then it showed ancient records, data that Thala had secretly provided, about the Krell and other species erased by Council forces. Earth is not the first world to develop immunity to Council weapons, Jack continued, but previous immune species were destroyed, their existence erased from history. We refuse that fate. Vrax shouted in rage and drew his weapon. "Stop this transmission now." Lisa and her security team moved quickly, surrounding the Drazeri. "Lower your weapons," she ordered. "This is a peaceful demonstration." On the screens, billions of aliens watched as Vrax faced down the human security forces. They saw how the humans stood tall despite the Drazeri weapons pointed at them. "We do not seek war," Jack said to the watching galaxy. "We wish to join the galactic community as equals, not as servants or victims. Look at those council members who stand with us today." The camera showed Thala and several other counselors who had positioned themselves with the humans. "The council has hidden truths from you for centuries. They have destroyed peaceful species out of fear. We ask you, is this the leadership you want?" Olivia's hand hovered over a button. "Phase 2, she asked Elen quietly. He nodded. "Do it." She pressed the button. The screens now showed ships, hundreds of human ships rising from hidden bases around Earth. They were old vessels, hastily modified with alien technology from Dr. Xelb's data. Not powerful by Council standards, but far more than anyone expected Earth to have. "We are prepared to defend ourselves," Jack said, "but we would rather be friends." The galaxy watched. The truth was out. There was no going back. 3 months passed since Earth's message to the galaxy. Jack stood on a balcony overlooking a vast city unlike anything on Earth. Tall spires of crystal and metal reached toward an orange sky. Ships of all sizes moved between the buildings. This was Centrix, the capital world of the Galactic Council. "Still can't believe we're here," Olivia said, joining him at the railing. She wore formal Earth clothes, but with a small council pin on her collar. "Has invited guests, not prisoners." "That's the amazing part," Jack replied. The door behind them opened. Alan and Lisa entered with Thala. The Elloran counselor's purple skin shimmered in the alien sunlight. "It's time for the final vote," Thala said. "The council chamber is ready." They walked together through wide hallways. Aliens of all species moved aside respectfully as they passed. Some even nodded in greeting. 3 months ago, these same beings might have cheered their destruction. Your broadcast changed everything, Follett explained as they walked. For centuries, ordinary citizens trusted the Council blindly. They never knew about species like the Krell. Now they demand answers. And reforms, Alan added. The Council can't operate in secrecy anymore. The Council chamber looked different from Jack's first visit. The large table remained, but the chairs were now all the same height. No more looking down on junior members. High Counselor Mez welcomed them from the center of the room. Representatives of Earth, please take your seats. Jack noticed the Drazeri section was half empty. Where's Counselor Zek? He asked quietly. Removed from his position, Thula whispered. After the broadcast, 7 Drazeri colony worlds demanded new leadership. Their empire is fracturing. Commander Vrax sat in Zek's place, looking uncomfortable in formal robes instead of military armor. His scales were dull, his posture stiff. Defeat did not suit him. Today we vote on a new council structure, Mez announced. One that includes Earth as a full member, with all rights and responsibilities. The vote was quick and nearly unanimous. Only Vrax and 2 others voted against. Earth was now officially part of the galactic community. We also vote on the Freedom of Information Act. Mez continued. All council records will be open to member species. No more secrets. This vote passed as well. Jack saw relief on Thala's face. The truth about the Krell and other lost species would finally be known. After the session, Jack found himself in a garden overlooking the city. The setting sun cast long shadows across alien plants with blue leaves and golden flowers. Olivia joined him, carrying data tablets. The Science Council wants me to lead a joint research team, she said excitedly. Humans and aliens working together to study our biological differences. From threat to valuable research partner, Jack smiled. Quite a change. Lisa approached, now wearing a new uniform with both Earth and Council insignia. The Joint Defense Force is taking shape. We're teaching them about projectile weapons while they teach us about shield technology. Even the Drazeri military is cooperating, though not happily. Alan was the last to join them. Just finished a call with Earth. Our first embassy buildings are almost complete. We'll have permanent representatives on 12 worlds by next year. Jack looked out at the alien sunset. 6 months ago, I was teaching physics to bored teenagers. Now we're helping reshape the galaxy. Because you stood up when that weapon hit you, Olivia said, touching his arm. One person can change history. Not one person, Jack corrected her. All of us together. Humanity proved itself not just by being immune to weapons, but by choosing peace when we could have chosen war. As darkness fell, lights came on across the city. Some were the cool blue of alien technology. Others were the warm yellow of newly installed Earth lamps. Different, but complementary. What happens next? Lisa asked, looking at the stars appearing above. We explore, Jack said simply. We learn. We grow. Together. In the distance, a ship rose from the spaceport. It was an Earth vessel with new alien modifications. On its side was a fresh painting. Earth and alien hands clasped together beneath a field of stars. A new age had begun.